How to loop in NRL Fantasy 2025. Today we'll just be showing you how to loop. We get this question a lot. How do you loop? And today we're going to show you about 2 weeks before the season starts. As always, joined by Will. How's it going, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, good. So let's get into it. This will be a bit of a short video today. We're just going to try and make it as clear as we can. Um, so first off, we've got a loop here that we're going to present two loops that you can do, which are both really straightforward, and you can use them for the whole year if you need to. So, first loop, this, by the way, this pick is just for the sake of the video. I'm not actually going Cam Pereira. Um, so we've got Cam Pereira here in our wing fullback spot, and he's obviously got a bye round one, as you can see. And then we've got our four interchanges, a center, an edge, a half, and a mid, and then two wing fullbacks here in Mark, Noah Konatawaze, and Isaiah Iongi. What you want to do, so obviously Cam Pereira's score won't register, and then it'll keep going down until your first wing fullback, in this case it's Mark.
Well,
So Mark plays, what's that, sorry?
Damali might start on the wing, so he could get center wing duel, which doesn't really affect it. But it would just be Damali would go into that wing
Yeah.
fullback spot, and you still get Mark's points.
It might have, yeah, it might affect it in a few weeks, but we're talking round one here.
Yeah.
So you got Mark here, as you can see, he's got the third game of the round. So he plays first, and you want your emergency five player playing first. So what'll happen is you watch the game that Mark plays against the Broncos, and if he has a score that you'd like to take, probably a score around 30 to 40 that you reckon that's safe enough, then you just leave your team as is. Because since Mark is the first player here, the first wing fullback, his score will replace Cam Pereira at the end of the round. So if he gets a score that you're happy with, you just completely leave your team. You don't change it at all. But here's the risk. Or not even a risk really, it's a little bit of a risk. If Mark gets injured, like breaks an ankle or something, that's a bit extreme. But if he gets injured, concussed, or gets 10, 20 points, and you're not happy with that at all, what you do is you take Iongi and swap him, like so, with Khan Pereira, and then you're gonna leave Mark's score of 10 or 20, and then you're just gonna uh get Iongi's score, and he plays, if you can see up the top corner, on the Sunday, and then you don't worry about Mark or Camperera, and then you just got to trust that Iongi will get a better score than Mark. So that's the first one. Have I missed anything there, Will?
Nah, that's pretty much accurate. Again, the only thing I would say is that if Damali does get that wing fullback for round one duel, that means that Damali would just go into that wing fullback because he's first, and then he'd be
Yeah, because
stuck
he's
with
first.
Mark's points. So you'd kind of, if that you wanted to do it that way, you'd have to put Purdue up in your or clear, then Tamale at five, Mark at six, Iongi at seven, and then that gives you, if you're not happy with Tamale, you kind of have to choose between Mark or the I or Ongi.
Yeah, but we're just doing it for the
Yeah.
sake. Just forget about Tamale. We're just doing it for the sake of Mark and Iongi. So that's the first one. Just simply, if to break it down, just again. You got Mark and Iongi here. Mark plays first. So if Mark gets a score of 35 to 40 and you're happy with that and you want to stick with that, you just leave your team as is, because Mark, being the first wing fullback here, will replace Cam Pereira at the end of a round and you'll get his points. But if you're not happy with Mark's score, or say he gets a 20 or a 25, you simply swap Iongi with Cam Pereira, and then Iongi score will count at the end of a round. You just got to trust that he'll get more than Mark. So it's pretty simple, really. And another one you can do, which is realistically the same thing. Let's just fix this up here. Put Ione there. You go swap these two. You can do, for example, just mix it up a bit here. You got Sandon Smith and Royce Hunt at your emergency five and six, and you got Cam Pereira in your 17 spot, interchange number four. Same concept. Sandon Smith plays first on the Thursday, and then Royce Hunt plays on the Friday. So you put Sandon in your emergency five spot, your first emergency, and wait and see how he goes. You watch the game on Thursday, and since he's playing six, he should score pretty well. He gets a 40, say 45 even. Then you leave your team unless you back Royce Hunt, which is would be silly if Sandon did score 45. So if he does get that 40-ish points, you just completely leave your team, don't change it at all, and then Sandon Smith will at the end of a round swap in for Cam Pereira and you'll get his points. But once again, if Sandon gets injured, concussed, or something like that, gets 10 or 15 points, and you're not happy with that, which you shouldn't be, you then get Royce Hunt, swap him with Cam Pereira, and then he'll be your fourth interchange. And then you wait and see how he goes, and you just got to back him in. There is a bit of risk obviously involved with looping, but if it pays off, you can easily snag about 10 to 15 points every round. So, anything else to add there, Will?
Yeah, well, usually for me, I kind of have a number in the back of my mind. So let's say I also have Sandon at 5 and Royce at 6. I'd usually say if Sandon gets 30 or more, I'd usually take just Sandon's points and hope that Royce doesn't go higher. But let's say, yeah, if Sandon gets to 25, I still think that that's probably a risk, but I'd probably still take Sandon. So it's just like, I think about setting that number to yourself, like what's going to be that break even score you take. So, like, if you get 25, that's for me, I'll take that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's just about setting a number that if you're happy with it, like if you think one of these guys on your bench, Purdue, Purdue or Hunt won't score over 25, then you just keep Smith there. But yeah, that's the only thing I'd say. Just make sure you have that number in your I'd in mind.
Yeah, you're right. Um, another thing is you're better being safe than sorry, as I've experienced a few times. Like you did say just then, well, if you have a number for Sandon before your round, you're like, if Sandon scores 30 points, then I'll take that. And maybe Royce Hunt will score a try and get 40 points, but you just got to cop it on the chin. Royce Hunt could also bum out and get 10 points, 15 points. So, like you said, have a number in your head for your emergency five. Sandon Smith, you'd take me personally, I'd take anywhere from 25 plus for
Yeah,
Sandon because Royce Hunt may not get the minutes. So if he gets 25 to 30, you'd leave him there. And then if Royce Hunt happens to get 40, well, you just cop it. You just got to take the extra 10 points you've lost. But that's just how it goes. That's the risk associated. But that's just a quick way of how to loop. If you're new to fantasy, it's a great way to get an edge over your friends or just get shoot up in the ranks overall. Yeah, just a quick video from us today. More to come. Anything else to add before we wrap up tonight? Well,
well, I think it's just big thing also that a lot of people can mistake is that make sure you have coverage in every position. So looking at
yeah,
your team now, you say Mamazulis gets a late scratch and Watson's already played, for example, you're going to be a hooker. Like you're not going to have a hooker there. So I think that you only play with 16. Like you kind of need to have that hooker on your bench. So if there is a Mamazulis, for example, who gets late ruled out, then you get that hooker score. Because I mean that's been a mistake
yeah,
that I've made before, in that where I just think when setting your team up for round one, you have to take into consideration the late scratchings and that, as we see a lot of them.
yeah. You're right. Yeah, I only have Cam Pereira picked just for the sake of a video. But like you said, you'd prefer to have a wing fullback cover like Mark, an edge cover, Tuolangi center for Tamale, mid for Royce Hunt, and then a half for where do you go? Sandon Smith. But yeah, I'd probably likely replace Cam Pereira with a hooker.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that's all we got for you tonight, guys. Just a quick one. Just pretty simple way of how to loop. We've got two ways there. Just implement it if you've got a um Titans player like a Bo Fermor maybe or a Keeney. Implement it for round one, but if you don't, there's going to be people. Storm have a bye round two, and a lot of people have Storm players, so you can honestly double loop maybe or single loop depending on how many you have. So that's all we got. If you got any questions, just leave a comment below or shoot us a DM on Instagram. Thanks for the continued support. One follower away from 1K on Instagram. I don't know if you saw that, Will,
Yeah.
but get us to 1K. We've got a giveaway coming, so we'll post that once we hit 1K. A big giveaway that I think you shouldn't miss out on. It's going to be good. So that's all we got for you tonight, fellas. Any final comments, Will?
Nah, just yeah, thanks for the support, boys. And yeah, you got any questions, shoot us a text on Instagram or DM or leave it in the comments. Looping's pretty simple. It's just be smart with it, don't get too greedy. And I'd say just have that set number that you take from one player.
Exactly. All right. Catch you in our next video, fellas.
Cheers, guys.